All right, Gator, heads or tails?
Heads.
Gator calls a head, and it is a tail. I will receive, my friend.
Okay.
All right, here we go, Doug. Question number one. The Minnesota Vikings beat writer for The Athletic wrote this week that the Vikings would do anything and everything they possibly could to acquire a quarterback like Joe Burrow. But if the Vikings were ever to try and get Joe Burrow himself, should they go all in? And what would your all-in proposal be for Joe Burrow?
Wow, this is
you were
fun.
the Vikings.
Yeah, I like this. I would offer up quarterback J.J. McCarthy, go in the other direction. Linebacker Blake Cashman, which would be hard to depart with, but Minnesota would then re-sign Ivan Pace Jr., who is a backup and a player I really liked out of Cincy, and their 2026 first and 2026 second-round pick. That's number 18 and number 49 in this draft. So Cincinnati's giving up the franchise quarterback, but they're getting the possible young replacement, help for the defense, and 2 draft picks they can use right away. I don't know if I'm doing this show in Minnesota and people think I'm crazy, or I'm doing this show in Cincinnati and people think I'm crazy, but that's the deal I came up with.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You and I both have one, or I guess a couple similar elements in this. Would I do it? Absolutely, I would do it if I were Minnesota. They've got a ready-made offense. You're able to hang on to Brian Flores for another year. So I think that's going to help you out. You got a little bit of a window here. You'll probably lose Flores at the end of the year. But you've got him for this year. Let's make a run for it. And if you're going to make a run for it, you need the quarterback. Joe Burrow is that guy. To me, it's going to cost you, similar to the Stafford deal, give him 2 firsts, a third, and a swap of quarterbacks. We'll give you J.J. McCarthy as well. And if that can get it done, awesome. Like you, I'm not sure that's something that Cincinnati would like or Minnesota. I think Minnesota would do it. I don't know if Cincinnati would do that. I don't know if they believe in J.J. McCarthy. I wouldn't if I were them, but it's the other piece going that way. They get a couple first-round picks, and I'm huge on if you're going to sign a quarterback this offseason, I'm going for Malik Willis.
Yeah, I would definitely try this as well, and I'm not sure, like you guys said, if the Vikings fans think I'm crazy or the Bengals fans think I'm crazy, but I would do almost anything, and that includes a deal similar to the Stafford Goff deal, but even more, because Joe Burrow he's a younger, better player. He hasn't won anything yet.
Got an injured history, though.
Yeah, but he has gone to a Super Bowl. But yeah, he does have an injury history. With that being said, I don't care. I would offer multiple first-round picks, if not the first, second, third this year. You obviously have to throw J.J. back so they get something where they maybe have a quarterback of the future. And then you got to throw them something on defense, because that's where the Bengals have been lacking is defense. The offense hasn't been the problem. It's the defense. I threw in Dallas Turner, Doug. That's the guy I included in the deal, because you got to give something good up to get something good back, right? And even if they want another one, I might do that too as someone from the defense, because Brian Flores, you're right, Gator, he's still there for another year. I think he can hold it down and then use any other draft picks you have on defense at that point. All right, apparently the Patriots owner Robert Kraft is going to be joining Bill Belichick and not getting into the Hall of Fame this year, which has got people wondering, when Tom Brady is eligible for his first year, is he going to get denied as well? What's going on, and would Brady actually get denied?
You know, as the voting has been brought to our attention, how this thing works, and there are only certain slots for it, and I no longer care about this. I'm actually annoyed by it now. It's so stupid and ridiculous. Obviously, without question, Tom Brady is a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's probably the easiest choice that modern football has ever had to make when it comes to putting somebody into the Hall of Fame. But who knows? I mean, the number one thing he has over the other guys is that he actually played the game. He wasn't an owner. He's not a coach. He's a guy who played and won the Super Bowl, was the Super Bowl MVP multiple times. He's got 7 rings. There's no question he gets in. But is a possible Deflategate keeps him out with some writers. You never know. You never know with writers.
Tom and I go way back.
Yeah, you guys do.
I think this totally depends on who else is on the ballot the first year he's eligible, because this convoluted process that limits the number of players that can get in is kind of hard to follow, and so it makes it hard to predict. But the growing sentiment is that there is Patriot backlash out there, and has me leaning towards no. I don't think Brady gets in the first chance he gets.
Wow. Crazy, man. If that actually happens, I think he will get in. Here's why. I think the process changes. This process is ridiculous. It's dumb. I think after all this has come to light and there's public outcry now, and media outcry from the guys that aren't voters, I think they're going to have to change the process. But I do think there is something with this Patriot backlash. I mean, does the committee really hate the dynasty? Do you think it's Deflategate? Were they arrogant? Were they jerks? I mean, did they cheat? All of that plays a role, and maybe they're trying to punish them. But in the end, I think Brady gets in because they changed the process.
Did you see, by the way, I think Goodell talked about this earlier in the week, that he's like, the NFL, this isn't the NFL, this is a Hall of Fame thing. Like, he's separating the NFL from the Hall of Fame and wants everybody to know it, as if to say, we don't think that's the way to do it, but that's how they're doing it. They have their process.
Yeah, and I think they should change that process. All right, Ian Rappaport reported this week that quarterback Justin Fields actually turned down an opportunity to participate in the Pro Bowl games this year. Guys, what should the league do about the Pro Bowl games? Justin Fields is turning them down.
So, look, I mean, this is like college bowl games. The reality is the Pro Bowl's harmless. It's up to the players. The Pro Bowl games are harmless. There's a charitable function here, so why not keep it going? Last year it got 4.7 million viewers, and that number, I don't expect it to go up, but we got to remember they were celebrating that Michigan State last Friday. A game was the highest rated college basketball game in the history of Fox, has a lower number than the Pro Bowl games did a year ago. Crazy. The production costs are low. It's still getting a number, meaning a rating. I think the thing is harmless, and as long as the players want to do it, and if some money goes to charity, I don't see the harm.
Yeah, I agree that it's a harmless situation. It's crazy to think how the ratings actually work with this thing, that people do tune into it. I haven't watched it in forever, but that doesn't make me better or worse than anybody else. It's just it's not on my radar anymore. I think this year was different. There was unforeseen circumstances with all the attrition with the AFC quarterbacks. I mean, they wanted a bunch of guys, but guys are just hurt. They're rehabbing. They can't play, or they were, they got guys that they're in the playoffs or whatever and whatnot. But they had to go so deep that Shedeur Sanders is there. It's not because Shedeur is deserving of it. It's because everybody else is hurt or banged up and can't do it. And now you're talking about Justin Fields was asked. I mean, Joe Flacco has been asked. I think the solution is when you get a situation like this, when the circumstances line up that you don't have the pool of players to go with to field a quarterback on the team AFC, you simply turn it into a draft of a pool of NFL players, pick a captain from the AFC, a captain from the NFC, and then select players and move on that way.
Please, for the love of God, get rid of it. Get rid of it all except for the charitable part. You're right about the community service and charity part, Doug. But as far as the Pro Bowl games goes, get rid of it. And I know I've been the first and always, one of the first. I always say for years and years, it's all about money with the NFL. That's all they care about. At some point, this is like a drop in the bucket for them as far as money is concerned. They don't need the Pro Bowl games at all. The ratings, I don't care. And yeah, players are turning it down. Justin Fields turned it down, Doug. No one wants to play in this game. They're fake injuries. They're not even real injuries. Keep it because of the charity part, not the games, though. I don't need to air any of the competition. Go to these towns, do the community service, build up all the good causes that they do, all the raising the money. That's fine. But the actual game, no one cares, please. I think it's doing more harm than good for the brand. All right, allegedly recently fired Vikings GM Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah took 2-week paternity leave during training camp in 2023. Apparently, some rival NFL execs were in disbelief on this. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, he did work remotely. It isn't that the world that we live in right now, whether it's right or wrong, and it's kind of the world we live in right now. That being said, for years, there was no paternity leave offered for players, for coaches, for executives, whatever. That wasn't even part of it. So I get that the old school people are going to say, oh, raising their fist and angry at the clouds and all that, but it's a different world right now. I'm thinking it's a bit archaic to go back to that. I can't imagine that he wasn't involved with everything this goes on, right? It's training camp. The GM has to be involved with it. I understand that, but I think you can still be involved every day watching film. They can make it easy enough for him. They're filming everything. Just have him watch it at home on Zoom. He's at home, but he's still doing the work. I don't think this is a big deal. I guess I'm not terribly surprised that the old guys are going to be yelling about it.
I imagine if I were an NFL general manager and I were attempting to scout every player in my training camp, as well as every player on any teams that came in for any joint practices, as well as every player on every training camp roster around the league. All I can picture is myself burning the candle at both ends to try and pay attention to who might help my football team when it's all said and done. And I can't imagine being anywhere but in the building doing everything I can for that job. I don't think 24 hours a day would be enough. So I'm not surprised it didn't go over well. And quite frankly, if I were a Viking fan, I don't care that you were able to work from home. I think any second taken away from that job is a mistake for any personal reasons. And real life intervenes. I got it, but not during training camp.
Wow. I did not expect an answer from Doug Karsch.
Me neither, Gator. My first thought is they're just piling on. This was in 2023. Why is this coming out now? He didn't get fired in 2023 after he requested this.
They have a good season in 2023?
I don't know.
Were they 14-3?
I have no idea. Was it? Yeah, no. Okay.
Or maybe not. I'm sorry. It was a year after.
Well, whatever. It happened years ago, and now it's coming out after he got fired later. I think personally it's great that he wanted to be there for his child, his wife, his family, because in the end, that's who really matters and who really cares about you. But if your job requires your attention at all times, maybe that job isn't for you. I mean, it sounds like it was during training camp, so he sounded like he trusted the people he hired underneath him to give him any information. And like you said, Garrett, he was working remote. He can do a lot of stuff from home. He's not a player. He doesn't have to be there. But then again, you are trusting the people underneath you to get you the right information. And in the end, it might have cost him his job because, those players didn't develop or whatever. I heard something that I really like, a saying that I really like. It's, in the end, the only people that remembered you work late all the time is your family. So if Mensah made his choice and said, hey, I'm cool with this is what I'm doing, he lives by it, and he got fired, unfortunately. But I can understand why other execs who don't go home and see their families are like, what? Yeah. What'd you do that for? All right, it seems like every head coaching vacancy is filled now. Who got it right and who blew it?
Well, I probably blew it because I made a shoot-the-boot guarantee that one of them would be a college coach. So I guess put me at the top of that list. Who got it right? The New York Giants got it right, getting John Harbaugh. And I think the team that probably blew it the most is Baltimore, moving on from him. But if you were looking for who blew it with the hire, I'm going to go for the first time in my lifetime, the Pittsburgh Steelers blew it with their hire. Did they really go out and basically hire a guy that they are trying to hang on to, a decrepit old quarterback whose best days are behind him? Because that's what it looks like from afar. That's what it looks like to me from afar.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb. I agree. I also agree. I think it's the Giants. They got it right. John Harbaugh is a heck of a coach. The team has some talent. They got a top pick, and they're ready to make that big leap forward with this great coach. The team that messed it up, I think it's the Buffalo Bills. There was nothing wrong with having McDermott as your coach. Nothing wrong. All you did was go to the playoffs every single year. You've got a franchise quarterback, and the reason you fired him, you even admitted this, that he would still be the coach if the kicker didn't miss that kick. So you're firing coach because somebody's right foot didn't work in one play. That is the dumbest thing ever. And then you're going to promote from within? I don't understand it at all. Need a new voice in the room, so you're going to bring up a guy who worked underneath him. That is just beyond dumb to me. So
I like John Harbaugh, and I necessarily didn't think he deserved to be fired, but sometimes it runs its course. With that being said, I like the Jesse Minter hiring by the Ravens. I think what the Ravens have really built their team on in years past with success is defense, and they're getting back to defense. That defense used to be feared, used to be aggressive, and they're just not anymore. They're just relying on Lamar Jackson to get them down the field, and then a kicker miss a field goal or whatever it is. They've blown way too many fourth-quarter leads. Hopefully Minter and that defense stops that from happening, and that's what leads them to some playoff success. The one I don't like is, I agree with you, Doug, Mike McCarthy with the Steelers. This is going to sound weird, but they need to stop trying to make the playoffs because they need to rebuild. Because, no, what they're doing is they're stuck in first-round exit purgatory. That's all they're doing. They're not actually a threat to win it all, and that's why I'm saying I don't make the playoffs. They need to reset this whole thing. Is it crazy that T.J. Watt has never won a playoff game? Time to start over, man. Our last one here, fun one, guys. Puka Nacua, he shot his shot. That's right. He was able to land a date with Sydney Sweeney. Apparently it was yesterday. I don't know if it went through or not, but Sydney Sweeney said in an interview, one of the things she's looking for in a man is an adventurous man, someone who would go skydiving. Puka immediately went to X and said, I love skydiving. Now they have reservations to go skydiving. It's supposed to happen yesterday. Two-part question. One, would you go skydiving with Sydney Sweeney? And two, if you had to skydive with a current NFL player, who would it be?
All right, Sydney Sweeney is spectacular. Let's just get that out of the way.
Well, I'm glad you said it, Gator.
Yeah, I think we had to get that out of the way. We had to get that out of the way. I'm not skydiving for anybody. I am not jumping out of a plane. I don't care if it's Sydney Sweeney or whomever, right? And I think she's great, but there's no way that's happening. It's sad to have to admit that I guess I'm just not a fit for Sydney Sweeney. I'm not that adventurous guy. It's not going to work out between us. As far as skydiving with an NFL player, again, I'm not skydiving, but if you're forcing me to come up with a player, and I know you are, I'm going to say Terrion Arnold because I think he's hysterical. And the way that he reacted to a winter in Detroit and he was completely unprepared for it was awesome and funny as hell. And I can only imagine what he'd be like up on the plane and the things that he would say in front of an open, door to jump out of it. I think it'd be great.
Okay, question A, would I go skydiving with Sydney Sweeney? No, I would not skydive with Sydney Sweeney. And before someone suggests it, I would not tandem jump with Jack Campbell. I can assure you I would not do that.
Really?
I can assure you. The only thing that would make me skydive is life-changing money. Like somebody saying, I'll give you $25 million if you go skydiving once. I have no interest in that at all. And so I guess it's no and no.
Well, are you forced to just be up there with the NFL player?
Jack Campbell.
All right, there you go. That makes sense. Yeah. The shocker here was that Doug didn't want to put on a helmet when he had a chance to put on a helmet, right? Seriously.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure the helmet would help.
Yeah, this is going to sound crazy, but 3 for 3. I'm not skydiving with Sydney Sweeney. It sounds. I don't want to skydive either. I don't care who the chick is. Not happening. As far as if you're forcing me to with an NFL player, I'm going to go Jared Goff because this is why, guys. If we share a traumatic moment together, he'll enjoy us more and our weekly interviews will be better. Because he'll be like, hey, you know what? We shared that moment. I took it a little easier on you guys. So, Jared, remember me? We almost died, but we survived. And
I remember that. That was a good moment. Yeah,
Jared Goff.
You said no to Sydney Sweeney, but you said yes to me.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
all I heard.
That's got to mean something, Jared.
Yeah.
There it is. That concludes the Y9 Omaha 4 Down Around the League Blitz Thingy.